Hello, good day, guys. I'm Tumesi Prince Anka, a level 300 student from the University of Education, Uniba, offering history education and also taking history of modern feminist thought as my elective course. Today, I'm going to give a brief overview on the topic critiquing feminist theories. At the end of the video, the viewers are supposed to know the various types of feminist theories, define feminist theories, and also get to know the three key aspects of feminist theories. Okay, so we are going to start by defining what feminist theories are. Feminist theories are a diverse set of perspectives that critically examine the social, cultural, and political inequalities between women and men, or a collection of diverse bases that analyze and challenge the ways in which gender inequality is produced, maintained, and reproduced in society. They seek to understand the ways in which gender shaped individuals' experiences, social structures, and power dynamics. So feminist theories are basically ways or different type of ways which we can analyze and challenge the ways in which gender inequality is produced, maintained, and reproduced in a society. We are also going to take a look at the various types of feminist theories. The various types of feminist theories include liberal feminism, radical feminism, the Marxist or the social feminism, ecofeminism, intersectional feminism, postmodern feminism, transfeminism, and cultural feminism. Each feminism theory has its principle or way of analyzing how inequality is produced or maintained in a society. Okay, now since we know the various types of feminist theories, we are going to take the three key types of feminist theories, that is the liberal, the radical, and the socialist feminism, and have a critical look at them. We are going to talk about the principles, the strengths, the weakness, and also look at some of the feminist movement under such feminist theories. To start with, we are going to talk about liberal feminism. Liberal feminism is a branch of feminist thought that believes in achieving gender equality through reforming existing political and legal structures. This theory argues that gender inequality is largely the result of discriminatory laws, policies, and social practices rather than inbuilt difference between men and women. It emphasizes individual rights, equal opportunities, and the power of legal and political reform to level the playing field for women. We are going to look at the principles of liberal feminism. The principles of liberal feminism include individual rights and liberties, equal opportunities, legal and political reform, education, and empowerment. These principles seek to achieve gender equality through legal and political reforms within existing societal structures. Now let's take a look at the strengths of liberal feminism. This includes practical and achievable goals, broad appeal, tangible results. Liberal feminist activism has led to significant legal and policy changes that have improved women's lives, such as the right to vote, equal pay laws, and access to education. Now let's take a look at some of the weaknesses of liberal feminism. The weaknesses of liberal feminism includes shallow change, individualistic focus, neglect of other forms of operation, reliance on system. Some people argue that relying on the existing legal and political system to achieve gender equality is inherently flawed, as these systems are often biased in favor of men. A feminist movement under the liberal feminism is the suffrage movement. Suffrage movement included the National Women Suffrage Association and the American Women Suffrage Association in the United States. These organizations, while having different strategies initially, ultimately worked to secure a constitutional amendment granting women the right to vote. Looking at these key features of liberal feminism, it stands as a significant force in pursuit of gender equality. Its focus on achieving legal and political reforms within the existing system has yielded tangible progress in areas like equal pay, access to education, and reproductive rights. Let's move to the second key aspect of feminist theories, which is the radical feminism. Radical feminism is a branch of feminism that views patriarchy, which is male dominance, as a fundamental and primary form of oppression in society.
Unlike liberal feminism, which seeks equality within existing structures, radical feminism advocates for a fundamental restructuring of society to eliminate patriarchy and its widespread influence. It is a more revolutionary approach, aiming to uproot the sources of inequality rather than simply managing its symptoms. The principles of radical feminism include seeing patriarchy as the core problem, challenging gender roles and stereotypes, rejecting traditional institutions, and focusing on personal politics. Now let's look at some of the strengths and weaknesses of the radical feminism. The strengths of the radical feminism includes addresses root causes, challenges power structures, empowers women, broadens the scope of politics. This is by focusing on patriarchy as the primary source of oppression. Radical feminism provides a more comprehensive analysis of gender inequality than some other feminist theories. Now, the weaknesses of radical feminism includes essentialism. That is, they argue that radical feminism can sometimes essentialize women's experience, assuming that all women share the same experience and interest, regardless of their race, class, sexual orientation, or other social identities. Exclusion of trans women. Oversimplification. Critics suggest that radical feminism oversimplifies the complexities of gender inequalities and overlooks the role of other forms of oppression such as racism and classism. A feminist movement under the radical feminism is the women's liberation movement of the 1960s and the 1970s. Feminist women's liberation, which is the WLM, was not a single but unified organization with a diverse collection of groups and individuals united by a common commitment to challenging patriarchy and achieving women's liberation. In conclusion, the radical feminism challenges traditional gender roles and societal norms. It aims for a fundamental transformation of society, pushing for a radical social change. The third key aspect of feminist theories is the socialist or the Marxist feminism. Socialist feminism views women's oppression as basically linked to the capitalist economic system. Socialist feminism and the Marxist feminism are often used interchangeably, even though there are indirect distinctions between them. It argues that gender inequality is not simply a matter of individual prejudice or patriarchal attitudes, but is deeply rooted in the economic structures that exploit both women and the working class as a whole. It combines insights from both Marxist theory and feminist thought to understand and challenge the interconnected systems of oppression. The principles of the socialist or the Marxist feminism includes interconnectedness of gender and class. This is the core belief that gender and class are inseparable and mutually reinforcing forms of oppression. Women are oppressed both as women and as members of the working class. Also, capitalism as a source of women's oppression, the family and domestic labor, materialist analysis, and then challenging both patriarchy and capitalism. The goal of socialist feminism is to challenge both patriarchy and capitalism and to create a society where both gender and class inequality are eliminated. This often involves advocating for socialist or community economic systems. Also, another principle of the socialist feminism is state intervention. Socialist feminism often calls for a state intervention to alleviate economic inequality and provide social support for women, such as universal childcare, paid parental leave, and affordable housing. Now, let's look at a subtle distinction between the socialist and the Marxist feminism. This is the slight difference between the socialist and the Marxist feminism. The Marxist feminism tends to focus more directly on the ways in which women's labor, both paid and unpaid, contributes to the accumulation of capital, while socialist feminism is still critical of capitalism. Socialist feminism may be more open to working within existing political system to achieve reforms that benefit women. It may emphasize the importance of building alliances with other social movements such as the labor movement and the civil rights movement. Now let's move to the strengths of the socialist feminism. The first strength of the socialist feminism is it provides a structural analysis. Also, it connects gender and class. It highlights the interconnectedness of gender and class inequality, showing how these forms of oppression reinforce one another. It addresses economic inequality. It also offers a vision of social transformation. Now, let's take a look at the weaknesses or the criticisms of socialist or the Marxist feminism. This includes economic determinism. Critics argue that it can be overly focused on economic factors and neglect the importance of other forms of oppression such as racism and sexism. Secondly, subordination of gender to class and also historical failures. The collapse of many socialist and community states has led some to question the viability of socialist or the Marxist solutions to gender inequality. An example of a feminist movement under the socialist or under the Marxist feminism includes the Bread and Roses strike of 1912. The Bread and Roses strike, also known as the Lawrence Textile Strike of 1912 in Lawrence, Massachusetts, is a compelling example of labor movement that strongly reflects socialist feminist principles. It was a strike by primarily immigrant women textile workers who demanded better wages, safer working conditions, and the right to organize.
So these are the three key aspects of feminist theories. That is the radical, the liberal, and the socialist feminism. And then some of the feminist movements under such theories. Now we are going to take a brief overview on some of the other types of feminist theories.
Let's look at the other types of feminist theories and give a brief explanation about them. Cultural feminism. Cultural feminism is about celebrating women's unique qualities and creating women-centered culture. Goddess spirituality movement. Celebrating female deities and reclaiming women's spirituality. Psychoanalytic feminism. That is exploring the psychological development of gender identity and challenging societal norms that shape women's inner life. Also, we have the postmodern feminism. The postmodern feminism is deconstructing essential notions of gender and embracing diversity and difference. Example of a movement under the postmodern feminism is the Riot Girl movement that challenge mainstream culture, promotes female creativity, and express and question traditional notions of femininity and sexuality. Also, we have the third wave and the fourth wave feminism. That is embracing intersectionality, challenging traditional feminism, and using digital platforms for activism. We have the black feminism or the black womanism, addressing the intersection of race, gender, and class in the lives of black women. An example of movement under the black feminism is the Black Lives Matter. While Black Lives Matter is exclusively not feminist, Black Lives Matter has centered black women's experience and leadership in the fight against racial injustice. Also, another type of feminist theory is the transfeminism that advocates for the liberation and inclusion of transgender people within the feminist movement. Also, the last type of feminist theory is the Transgender Law Center that advocates for legal and policy changes to protect the rights of the transgender people.